Hey there, welcome back. Alright, I have tried at least 4 times to start a 36 civilization map. And to be quite honest, it is very challenging. So, like, people are talking about like how easy it is to win, and and it was like I showed you, it was tremendously easy to take the lead. And even with the 36 civilization map, I can still get in the lead. Now, whether or not I'm doing well is another question, right? Because the real estate runs out. There's hardly any room to expand. So could you sustain it and stay in the lead? That's a great question, and I don't know if I have that answer per se, um, because I didn't play any of those games long enough to find out. Is really where I'm going. Now, the interesting thing about it is I've learned a few things. Number one, let me get into here.
Isabella the First,
If you
Catherine the
pick
Great,
Catherine the Great,
reigning Empress of Russia, who conquered vast
this
territories
is
and improved many aspects of Russian life.
by far my favorite Civ. It has all the bonuses I love. Um, like this one, I would exchange for something else if I could. In fact, that one too. Like I don't need these two. I would have liked to have had something else, but um, they are fantastic, and I have no issue with those. Um, so uh, okay, back to my observation. I always start on snow, tundra, foresty biomes. Like there's different biomes in this game, and it is very consistent that they start in the snow biome. And so that's not to say that there's not spots with four food. There are. The four food tends to be harder to find. But I am finding it interesting that the different civs have biomes that they start in. And I can't say with 100% certainty, but I'm at 6 games now that I've started with Russia, and I've been in a snow biome every time. So I'm thinking, oh, hold on a second. Sorry. I have my son attends West Point, and he's in a competition today, and he just finished, and I'm getting texts from people. So I apologize. I let myself get sidetracked. He did very well today. It's a championship match, so I'm very proud of him. Anyways, uh, so I'm curious. Like, so if you pick like
Askia
the Sung
Muhammad
guy,
I,
are they always going to be in
general
a
and emperor,
desertish,
made the Songhai
biome?
Empire into one of the
And
largest empires in West
and just
African history.
I'm not going to actually play this game, but we're gonna play it out. Um, I'm trying to figure out like what this map is. They don't give you any descriptions of what they are, but anyways, let's try it. So prediction is I should start out in a desertish biome or something that's close to that. Taking a while to load. I've never seen it hang up like this before. Well, there it goes. It has never taken this long. Here we go.
Architect
I'm
of
just gonna skip through everything. I mean, right there's some desert. I mean, Africa's not all desert. There's some very lush green, but if you'll notice, there's no snow. I mean, there's a little bit of mountains. It's lush green. It looks like a savanna. This is what you would expect a savanna to look like, and yeah. So we go back to the main, and then if I do a new,
is Catherine the Great, reigning Empress of Russia, who
I am
conquered vast territories and
telling it to
improved
make a
many
large map. Let's
aspects
make a
of
smaller
Russian
one.
life.
It'll go quicker. So now you're going to see snow. Snow and forest. And it's really interesting because none of the YouTubers I've watched so far that cover this game has made this observation or figured this out. I'm not saying that, you know, there might be someone out there that has, but um,
Empress.
so there's snow. Now, not as much snow as I was expecting, but there is snow. Uh, if I Yeah, not as much as I was expecting, but there is definitely snow in the region. Actually, this looks like a great start. Too bad I'm not playing this one. um, Sorry, more distractions. Okay, so
Elizabeth
I
the
just found
First,
that to be a little
cunning and
fascinating.
charismatic queen of England.
Okay, observation number two. And I'm not saying I'm going to pick
Catherine the
this one,
Great,
but
reigning Empress of Russia, who conquered vast territories and improved many aspects
trying
of
to wait for
Russian
her to
life.
stop talking. Okay, so the global archipelago, as we learned, is really just, it's almost like an East Indies thing where you're on some kind of land where the middle is all mountains and the only habitable area is the beach. Nowhere near what I was expecting it to be. I don't know what world spine is. I'm assuming it's some kind of thing where the land is near the middle, like the equator, or maybe it's north south land, and there's ocean to the left and right. That's just a guess. I have no idea. Four continents I've been trying multiple times, and I never see four actual continents. I only at most see two. Um, I might see four continents if you count some little isthmus areas that are connecting them. But yeah, I don't. I never tried fractal coasts. For whatever reason, people just really love fractal stuff, and I don't. Um, it's too random to me. I mean, that's the whole thing with fractal is everything's just totally random. Um, Great Inland Ocean just sounds horrible. Um, so basically, it's I'm imagining that this is going to be a ring of land with an ocean in the middle. Um, I mean, I guess maybe that's okay. I don't know. So this is the one I've been trying lately is Continental Isthmus, and the other thing that I just wanted to point out is, we've been trying to do a large map and cranking it all the way up to 36. Here's the key things I want to point out to you. This little line is the what they recommend. Now, it doesn't make any sense that a medium map recommends 12 and then a large map also recommends 12. Like that part I don't quite understand. I would assume that the large map probably would recommend, I would say 20 or let's say even 24. I think that would be a very comfortable number. And you saw in the last playthrough, we were really crammed at 36. But if you take 12 of them away, that adds a lot more free space. And one of the joys of playing with 36 is that 12 of them, or we decided, what was it, 11? Were going to disappear. And that's what was so glorious about it, is that 11 would disappear. And if 11 did disappear, especially if it was the 11 that were near you, it was actually going to create a lot of wonderful space for you. So I do think 24 is a nice little sweet spot there because some of those 24 are going to go away, as we just noted. Now, here's the thing that I learned. The default is average sea level. Change it to shallow. And what that does is that adds more land to the map. The oceans are a little bit smaller. And the beaches are a little bit longer, right? So there's more land. Basically, the sea level rose or shrunk. So if you do that, it adds more land. And my experience has been that a 36 player map um, has a little bit more breathability. And so it is glorious to play with so many players or so many civilizations, but it is definitely super duper challenging to survive, and not to survive because like I can get enough points, but to just expand in a way that you feel like you could breathe. So, what am I gonna do here? I do love, first of all, the +1 city cap. When you're playing with 36 nations, I don't even hit the city cap of normal nations. So like, if you're allowed to, I mean, 3 cities is the most I could ever get before I'm just completely smothered by other nations. And you remember when you place a city, you need it to be able to grow because they get pretty large. So you don't want to be placing cities just for the sake of placing them. And some of the like you need that ability to grow. Now I was in that last playthrough I was banking on Ghana disappearing because otherwise my growth was going to be super infringed. And that's actually why I quit, right? Because they Ghana for some reason started to do well. Um, so that's the first thing. But the +1 city cap for later in the game is fantastic because you do produce so much more. Having one more city producing things and contributing to research, etc., it's your classic civilization thing. It's a huge, huge advantage. The two merchants, I still find to be so invaluable. Um, so that's where my moral dilemmas could become because I don't want to give up the extra merchants. I don't like giving up the extra city cap. Plus, this food and timber in the beginning of the game, you're getting free timber without having a timber lodge. That's really nice. All right. So the next thing here is if you're going to start a 36 Civ game and you know there's not a lot of breathing room, then you really should play a military style game. I don't disagree with that. It's just that it's not the way I like to play. So I've been a stubborn mule trying to figure out how can I play a turtleish economic game without. I mean, I don't mind defending myself. I just don't want to be conquering. And then of course my next dilemma is okay. So let's say I do accept the fact that I have to. If somebody starts next to me, okay, you're done. I'm going after you. Um, I don't know how to do that effectively because it's just not the way I play. So I would have to like try a few games to give it a shot. So one of the things I have learned is I can defend myself pretty well. When you fortify your own town, you get strength bonuses for that. I can also tell you that if your security is high when you deploy your reserves, they get a bonus to their strength. So having high security when you deploy is important. And only in the city that you deploy from. Also, you typically can only have two uh, army groups. So you want them both to be battalions or as large as possible, right? You want them to have as many units in them as possible so they can have the maximum strength. The last thing I can tell you is I have tried to like siege an enemy capital and you get trounced. Because they get the same bonus that you do. If you if they fortify their own capital, they have really high strength, and even though you have a full battalion and they don't have a full battalion, they still have enough bonus strength that they can still beat you. So you would need two full battalions, ideally very beefed up, to be able to take one capital. So that's the dilemma. And in the playthroughs that you've seen me play, I've been able to muster a full battalion, but never two. Like by the time I build the second one, the first one's already getting wiped out, or all I'm doing is just replacing losses. Um, but to have two full ones actually on the map and working cohesively, that's not something I've done before, and it's something you can absolutely strive to do. And I actually watched somebody do a video. So like when I play this game, my first thing I like to do is I like to build a second scout. and then go out and grab goodies. And while that's happening, I want my city to grow so I can build my first farm, preferably somewhere other than city center. Like that's where my mind is working. And then I try to get workshops up so that way I can start building the goods that I need, like the metal tools, the baskets, stuff like that. And that's gonna, the baskets I found really help with my city production, and because you can assign them to dwellings. And then I try really hard to get a trade relationship going with somebody. I don't care who, so that way I could use my merchants to get a bunch of free goods in areas of that I struggle with resources because I don't, have the ability to make those items very easily. So that formula works very, very well. Even when you're smothered, it still works well. Like you're not at jeopardy of being the bottom 11 or 12 that gets eliminated. The trick is if you want the breathing room, then conquer, right? Wipe out that capital city. Um, See, I do it so little, I don't even know what happens. So if I wipe out that capital city, does that mean it becomes my city? Does it get raised? I don't even know. I'm assuming it would become my city. Um, does that count towards my cap? I don't know that answer either. Um, so, anyways, that's some of the. So I just gave you the breakdown of like how I like to play. The the warmonger type who knows that they need to create their own breathing room. Instead of starting the game by building a scout, they start the game by building a spearman, and then another. And the first research they go after is archer. And by the time the second spearman's finished, they can build an archer unit. And then they got the first battalion already formed. And then they just make another battalion. And you basically get your two spearmen and an archer. Maybe build a couple more archers, so you can figure out how to maximize your battalions. And now you got two full battalions you can deploy, and then you go hog wild. And these guys don't really focus on building anything else until they get those military units up. And at that point, their cities are still growing because you do usually get enough food just from your base, and of course their scout is still going around and getting goodies, um, and so you do that, and then what you're banking on is that those cities, they do have capital cities, yes, but they almost always build a settler and create a second city, and the second cities are so much easier to conquer. And that's what I saw them do is they go after the second city, not necessarily the capital. So it's an interesting strategy, and I think it could work, especially if that second city is encroaching on you. Like maybe their first city's far enough away that it's not a big deal. Well, so here's my compromise. I showed you that trick where if you make the oceans more shallow, it adds more land to the map. And so that's sort of a way of making the map just overall bigger. So that way you can fit 36 people on there. And that's how well does that trick work? I mean, it worked well enough in the game that I tried that I thought I would bring that here. So, and then, like I said, the other thing you could do is you could pick a civ that has more of a military bend to them. Okay, so who do I pick? So that's the thing. Like you could do this, which gives you that little bit of a military. Like this will let me at least defend myself, and then here you got extra experience points, which makes your troops stronger. Because that's another thing too. If your troops can level up, their strength is tremendously high compared to another person who has the exact same troops that are lower level. The level of your troops does make a difference in the game. I really liked the five wealth from fishing nets.
Cunning and
It
charismatic
still gives me
queen
the
of
merchant,
England.
the extra merchant I like to have. This is a little weak. Um, it would be more helpful if there really was island maps. Um, but this part here is very strong, although that's more of a mid-game play. And that's
Benito Juarez, lawyer, statesman, 26th
So
president of Mexico.
Mexico, I think, is a decent start because you get the expert. Um, when I was looking at the military ones, the one that jumped out to me the most for this type of play is the Aztecs.
Izcoatl, politician, warrior, and founder of the Aztec Empire.
So you get 10% strength bonus when you're outside of your territory. So this is good for attacking the enemy. And then on top of it, you get 25 security for 10 turns after engaging in combat. Um, I'm assuming that means somebody declared war on you or you declared war on them. And so that 25 security is enough to boost your. So if you have reserves, then you can deploy them. And you're going to deploy them with a nice high security so you get the bonus. This is the one I wanted to show you. But then, of course, they have the penalty that I don't like. This one right here. But yeah, I mean, that's the idea. Is these guys would be good for conquering territory. Their heal rate is tremendous as well. And yeah, their penalty is they're not going to be very good at industry. So um, I think I really commend the developers. They do have a nice variety in the game. I think I was looking at Joan of Arc
Jeanne d'Arc,
as well.
French national hero who led her army
If you
to
have
victory
religion,
at the Siege of Orleans.
you get a 25% force bonus. And then you get extra movement within your territory, and your weariness is reduced. And then you have awesome defensive capabilities. Um, just not very friendly with other nations. Um, so, some cool stuff there. So, who are we going to be for this playthrough? Great question, great question. Um, I'm going to try.
Zenobia, Palmyrene queen who challenged the Roman Empire.
We're going to try Zenobia. Which one do I like the most? That's a little drab. Let's do orange. Okay, why am I choosing her? This, of course, hurts. 3 available merchants, as you know. The trading posts, which I can build 1 per city, will give me 5 knowledge and 4 wealth. So, it's not huge, but it's something. This will give me strength outside of my cities. This gives me the housing, which I like. I'm actually looking at her and I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to. Here's my problem. I always want to be her.
Catherine the Great, reigning Empress of Russia,
that's
who
my
conquered vast
my
territories
issue.
and improved many aspects of Russian life.
The only other one I actually want to do is I think Elizabeth is good,
Cunning and
but
charismatic queen.
you need the
of
island thing, which the game for whatever reason doesn't give you as well. Although that map we were playing, I think she did have an excellent start. So let's do Elizabeth again, and this time we're gonna do more regal, Victorian, and the Great Inland Ocean sounds interesting. We'll do Continental Isthmus. I still don't know what the heck that means. In fact, let me see if Google can tell me. So they have this wiki, and it's horrible. It doesn't tell you anything. This you can already get from inside the game, and then they list everything. The only thing I found is on Reddit. Somebody said that the fractal coast is exactly what I said I don't like. They said it's just a bunch of randomness, but you're guaranteed to have coastline. And then one thing I did find interesting is they finally explained this setting here, the axial tilt, which also made no sense. But basically, Earth generates tundra in the north and south and desert in the middle, whereas Uranus does the opposite. So you'll have tundra in the middle and desert in the north and south. So, so I guess it's like, okay, so tundra is going to be north and south, and then you're rotating the axis. So now it's going to be, I'm guessing no tundra at all. Um, who knows? It's going to be flipping around. So, anyways, we're going to make it shallow. We'll try the isthmus, and we're definitely going to do 36. Let's go, baby. Now, I would assume that this biome is we're always going to get the coast, which I think is awesome because if you're going to choose a nation that has bonuses near water and you don't start near water, that's horrible. Absolutely horrible. But I could be wrong. We're going to find out. Like, that's my theory is that there's biomes that each one starts with. And I would have expected a Wikipedia to have stuff like that. And I guess I should be contributing to it. But I don't know for sure yet.
The
We're going to
quintessence
skip
of
this. I hear water. I don't see water, though. I guess that's wind I'm hearing. I'm not near water. That's 3 hunts. There we go, 2 hunts. We'll get our feast. We're gonna try our strategy and not worry about the spearmen so much. And then as far as this goes, as you know, I've determined we don't need these two. But everything else is good. I'm gonna go for rope making. Perfect. So we killed our 2 animal. That gave us a feast. So we're gonna be able to crank up our happiness and our growth. And that'll make the building go a little bit better. Let's just keep exploring. We got a tool. That's really good. Alright. I'm wondering if that's... It sounds like I'm hearing water. I don't see any water, though. I'm seeing some beautiful farming areas all around us. Plentiful, in fact. Look at this. Alright, we got ourselves another scout. And we get to go somewhere. I think this looks like a great start. What we don't have is a lot of wood. I'm looking to see where I can build a logging camp. Right here. This is our only... Well, actually, I'm sorry, right here. We got one right next to us. Okay. Alright, so I built my scout. I'm going to go for a settler right away. Now that I have a second scout that can go this way, we will continue to go that way. Alright, we're near a tribe. I am definitely not seeing ocean. Oh, over here. I see it. So we're a little far away from one. I think it's okay. I don't need London to be on an ocean as long as one of my cities can be. And I could rush this. I don't know if I should. No, I'm not going to. This is what I like to see. We need to see the sea. So, like, if I am going to build another city along the coast, am I going to go all the way over to here? Where am I going to go? I do see some great options. Let's get archery. And then it would be nice to actually to kill those animals instead of using scouts. But I should let's get a farm going before I get too hog wild here. And a dwelling. I'm going to use the settler to explore for a bit. Oh, we found someone.
You've become aware of a new nation.
They're probably over here somewhere. There's more ocean. I'm going to have him head to the goodie hut. So now it becomes what resources. I definitely see a nice resource here. There's some pigs, cows, corn, barley. Things like iron aren't going to show up on the map yet, so we don't exactly know where those would be. We have some sheep there. I'm going to at least explore here and here, but I think I'm going to start heading over there. And yeah, I'm using my settler as a scout in a way.
A boy no older than 16 enters your court, springing with excitement.
I'm going to do this
He
one.
explains that he and his friend...
Oh, look at this. There's no ocean here. This is just a lake. That's interesting. This might also just be a lake over here.
A speaker for the tribe meets with your emissary to inform you on their recent struggles. We are building a monument, the likes of which the world has never...
I'll help him, but that was expensive. This is an important one right here. In fact, that's where I'd like to send a settler, is one of these spots over here. You got the 4 food thing going on again. Just met another nation.
A new power arises in your world.
Alright, first Paragon. None of these are the... You want the... Although this is really good. +5 to all quality of life stats in all cities. I mean, I want the 5 research, but that's really good.
Epicurus, Greek founder of the Epicure... As you walk the simple paths of your capital, you are greeted by a delightful scent. You find the source.
Give up the food. Always give up the food. Get some grain storage going. Oh, there's something we want right there. The question is there food? Like, if we go near here, I mean, like, I can, for example, I can put my city here. I do see a 3 food over here, a 3 food over there, a 3 food next to us. How many regions is this one? We're gonna go this way around. I did not want to go into conflict.
You've become aware of a new nation.
Alright, so we found Greece, so this is out. Greece is tremendously close to us. I'm gonna go on auto explore with this guy.
An unknown society extends its hand.
Now we found Kush.
A new power arises in your world.
We found a lot of people. Oh my gosh, another one.
An unknown society extends its hand. An invitation arrives at the capital. It seems the sun...
I'm gonna make a decision. We're gonna go there. We need Greece to be down here. Oh, we got an agreement. Okay, so since they're starting out, we're gonna get archers going with them, and we will speed rush it as after they do their first expansion. Good old Mexico. See, it's the NAFTA all over again. Got a bunch of free trade going on, and this is a mistake I made in my other town. I was doing one every 13 turns. See, we have lithic tools. We even have a candle. That gives +2 city knowledge.
Founders of your nation's newest city look to you for advice.
Always go for happiness,
They
because
hope
that
to build
increases
into
your
the city's
production. Unless you're at war, I guess the security would help in that situation. Right, so this is interesting. I was thinking of building up some military to go kill some of these animals. But I actually think I need another scout first. And the reason I say that is, this is a big map. Wherever we are, who's this? There's Georgia. There's Greece. Man, they're right next to each other. I'm going to speed that one along. Yeah, so we got an archer being built in the other spot. We're going to build a spearman here. And we're out of material.
Tribe's farmers are fascinated by your nation.
Look at that. Is that isthmus thing? I am a little annoyed. I got these huge bonuses near water and I'm not technically near water. And that reminds me, I forgot to use my agreement. For sure. Look at this. He has books already. How? How does he have books already? Oh, I forgot to mention in one of my games that I wasn't recording, I had an event pop up with one of these little tribal villages. They gave me the Republic government in the ancient era. So I was able to switch my government to Republic like within the first couple turns of the game. It was insane. Well, for now, I don't see why I wouldn't take a book. I'm going to save my last merchant for Eva. Definitely plows. I don't have the stone pit yet. I bet that's what I'm getting right now. Yep. So I can't build that yet. So, let's get a workshop going.
Scholars from a nearby tribe hurriedly seek audience with you to beg for your help.
I gotta be careful. I just realized something. I think you can only have 3 specialists.
An envoy arrives at your capital, sent to... Your advisors approach you in confusion. A local tribe has provided 2 stories of their own. Without people to call it home, your nation...
Alright, so we get our first claim here. I think I definitely want... I definitely want this. Is that my first choice, though? I'll need both of these. Take this one first. And... looks like we get to select a project. For 1 turn.
first contact established with an unknown people. You've made first contact with a mysterious people. You've met a new culture.
So far, I'm not liking this isthmus map. It just looks and feels like a supercontinent with no ocean.
You've become aware of a new nation.
I do like how I have more land to breathe, although it's not much. I mean, look at this. I'm surrounded a lot here.
One's life. An ornately decorated package with an attached scroll from a tribal leader sits on your desk. It reads, "Your people are..." You have reached the Bronze Age. An unknown society extends its hand. An unfamiliar nation emerges.
Okay, I'm not liking that there's no ocean. I mean, you could argue there's at least water here. So if I went up and settled one of these spots up here, I can get a lot of bonus. I'm not going to argue with that point. I at least have one here. Theoretically, this one. I think I have room down here to grow. I probably could... I think I do have room to pop a city maybe right there. So I can grow up. I can grow a little bit down. But still have room for London to grow. So it's not horrible. That the shallow ocean idea is the right one. So with 36 nations, I am finding room for me to at least pop... I feel like I could pop another settler there for 3, and maybe a 4th one down here, but it's hard to tell, because the fog of war is still in my way. You know, how English forces, like, you know, building boats or anything is not going to be a thing. So I'm going to apologize. I'm actually going to stop. This continental isthmus is not working for me. So I picked the absolute wrong race for this type of map. Um, my apologies there. I'm even debating not even uploading this, but I will do it and I'll just put a note. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome.